Welcome to Thriving in the Digital Age, your go to guide for navigating the ever changing world of business, technology, and innovation. With your host, Joe Crist, a seasoned entrepreneur and tech enthusiast, here to connect you with the leaders shaping our future. Discover the secrets to thriving in the digital age. Each week, we'll dive into practical insights, cutting edge strategies, and the latest trends to help your business not just survive, but truly thrive in today's digital world.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Thriving in the Digital Age. I'm your host, Joe Crist. Joining me today, GQ. He's not only a owner of a marketing agency, but is also a marketing business coach. GQ, thank you so much for joining us today. Could you please tell the audience a little bit about yourself?
Yes, thank you very much, Joe. It's a pleasure to be on your podcast. And as you say, I'm a founder of a digital marketing agency, but before that, I'm a business coach and marketing coach. I consult in different company on, for example, like problem with softwares or like stack of. A lot of company they stack their software, like they start with something and then they keep adding software and then they find themselves with hundreds a different piece of software. They don't know what they do anymore. There's that part of consulting. There is a part that I love. It's how to unify the five pillar of your life, that it's like faith, wealth, or finances, business, family, and health. I really love to speak about that with my clients and to put that together in one sphere instead of like how we always tend to think that everything is separated, but I like to put everything in one sphere. That's all I like to do. I've been doing that for quite a while and help people, and the most satisfactory story are the one that they tell me like, my marriage, my business is doing better, but even more, my marriage is doing better. I took finally a vacation with my wife after like 2 years, and it's something that people they don't think that everyone does it, but actually there are so many people in the business that don't do it. They always think about business, and that's what charmed me. That's what pushed me to help people even more.
You brought up an interesting point, and one of the things that's never really discussed in business, it's you either own the business or it owns you.
Yep, that's a great point. Exactly.
Yeah, that's really amazing that you're actually taking such a holistic approach to really helping these people out. So, just out of curiosity, right? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you've seen a lot. What are the major challenges you're seeing with a lot of these businesses and your clients?
Well, one of the biggest challenges that I get people asking me multiple times is actually time management. And it's one of the oldest challenge. I feel like time management has been a challenge forever. It's like a historical challenge. It's a challenge today, it would be a challenge tomorrow for people. There are some challenges that they come new, like for example, AI. With the AI now we have like different challenge about data privacy, data leaking and all these things, but like things like time management, it's like something has been always there, and it's really destroy business, destroy relationship, destroy your health. People that don't know how to manage their time, they think they don't have time, and ends up that they don't take care of their body, and then the business thriving and your body is dying. Like that's probably one of the biggest challenge that I've been noticing, that's still there and it's so strong.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point too. What I've seen a lot too with even my clients, right, where they're so focused on getting the work done
Mm-hmm.
that they put their health and their family and everything else second.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a one thing that I think it's really interesting is that people are not present. Like their mind it's just rolling all the time on business. And I tell my client I'm not better. I'm in that place too. I'm learning, and that's the reason why I saw that this happened to me, and I thought like I should help other people too. I should tell other people, hey, this exists. These are real things. You think you're listening to your wife, but in reality you're not present. Like you are just physically there, but your mind is rolling for something else, and then you have to start ask question about like, am I here? Like, am I listening? Am I pay attention to my wife or to my kids? These are questions you need to ask to be able to stay there. And people think that you can get to a place where you can learn and you are done. But it's not true. Like their management is, you have to, it's a management thing. So like it's forever. Like you have to keep reminding yourself like, hey, am I doing this right? Am I managing myself right? And you meet millionaires, billionaires, they still struggle with that. They do better than us, yes, because they have longer time. They've spent like now 10, 15 years doing that, and that's the reason also why they're billionaires. But still, they are not perfect. They don't have everything figured out.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. I've seen that too, where there's a saying, it's that I like to tell people, where your focus goes, your energy flows,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're focused strictly on your business and that's it, and 100% of your focus goes on your business, then everything you have will go there. But everything else, like your family, your health, uh, goes. It just falls apart, right? And it's not really necessarily a thing about like, oh, you need to have like perfect balance, but you also need to be able to have shifting priorities. Now, there will be days where,
Mm-hmm.
yes, you need to handle business emergencies, and I get that. I fully understand that. I mean, everybody who's built a business knows this. Things go wrong, but there's also times you realize put your like family as the highest priority, right? Because it's
Mm-hmm.
really about saying, hey, this needs this now. So I'm really curious too, because obviously you do a lot of coaching, try to help these people out. What indicators should people looking for? Like, how do you know there's signs of trouble?
Let me think. I think like one thing I would start is maybe you have to ask yourself regularly, am I neglecting one area for another? Like for example, am I neglecting family for business? Am I neglecting health for business or for family? And what do I need to adjust? These are two questions that I ask my client to ask themselves daily. And it's literally like training and losing weight. It's not something that you can ask once a week or like one a month and think like, oh, that's enough for me to change. Like if you're really serious on changing yourself and learn how to balance everything, that's something that you have to ask yourself daily. And one way to do it is by journaling. I invite all my clients to start writing down what was their day and add this question inside their journaling. And that's helped them figure out if maybe that day they didn't give anything to their family. And don't get me wrong, there is season for everything. I'm Christian, and Ecclesiastic 3:1 say there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. That would means that there is a season where work demands more of us, but then like we have to know that it's a season. If this season become like 2 years, it's not a season anymore. And that's really important. I ask my clients, it's like write down, like check every day and fine, but and also communicate with your family, communicate with your spouse. Like like if you are in a season where you have to focus more on the business, tell them, tell your wife like, hey, I need to focus more on the business right now. This should be lasting like maybe 2 months maximum, 3 months, not like 3 years.
Yeah, and I think that's an important thing too to really remember. It's you have to time box this stuff. Much like in business, if you want to really be successful, is find times to do the work, right? But
Mm-hmm.
even in your personal life, you have to find time to do the work. But you also, yeah, but communicating, right, and creating that alignment. I mean, that's something I struggle with myself, right? Where I get so fixated on like, hey, I got to get this done, and my passion's really in there.
Mm-hmm.
But because of that, I start ignoring things, right? And I think it's a big challenge for a lot of people too, where it's they're so motivated and dedicated to getting something taken care of that they forget like there's other things in the world that matter, not just
Mm-hmm.
to them, but that
Yep.
you as a business owner, you as an entrepreneur, you as that leader, you still matter to other people outside of work. Like you're not just your family, but your friends as well, right? I'm sure a lot of other entrepreneurs out there have alienated themselves from their friends at one point or another because they lose track and just stop talking.
Yeah. I mean, everything not start with self-awareness. Like if you are not self-aware of what's going on, you cannot make a change. It's like everything starts on at the end of the day asking you the question like what is going on, what I'm doing, how my calendar works. And for a long time for myself, I was not aware of what's going on. Mostly like when we had our kid, I don't know, I went on work mode. Like I went like, oh, I have a kid. more responsibility. I need more money. I'm just gonna work 70 hours a week, like giving everything, because I had to scale my business as much as possible, because I wanted to make sure. And my idea was like, oh, I'm doing now like this. Later on, I will have the money. I can spend time with my kids. And then after 1 week, I came back home, and my son was not recognizing me. Like, he didn't want to stay on my arm, because like I spent so much time away from him, and it was only 2-3 months. Normally 2-3 months they recognize you by your smell, but like if you're not close to them and good enough, like they forget about your smell. They see you as like a stranger. And I was like, yeah, that. And I was like, okay. I was like, whoa, okay, this is going out the end. And that's where my eyes opened, and I was like, okay, I need to look at my calendar. And then I became self-aware of like, this is what's going on in my life. And I had to change. I was like, okay, I need to hire a COO. I was like, I don't care. It's more expenses. It's fine, but less money that I can keep in my business. But at the end of the day, it's time that I can take back for be able to spend with my children, with my son.
That reminds me of something I tell a lot of like my mentees and people I work with, or like my team too, and also clients. It's, you can always make more money, but you can never make more time. The time you spend on something you will never get back. So you have
Yep.
to really invest it wisely. And that's a great example, right? And that's hard. I don't have kids myself, but I imagine that's a pretty difficult experience when your own child doesn't even recognize you. Though you had a great intention, it's like, I'm trying to provide for my family, I'm trying to do all these things. You're missing really important moments of their life and how they're developing and growing.
Yeah. Yeah. And recognize that people, they see the time where my son is 5 months old, 6 months old, it's one in all my lifetime. Like, he will not be 5 months old again. He will not be 6 months old again. He will not say the first word again. And if I'm spending all my time in business and losing that moment, like more, as you said before, you can always make more money. There is always another client for you, but there is not another first word for my son. Like another time that he's gonna say for the first time, or like mom for the first time and stuff like that. No, that's not there. That's just all. It's one time for the rest of my life, and you lose that. And that's the reason why sometimes people become self-aware more on the 40s, 45. It's because like in the beginning they are just like going like trains, and then once they get 45, 50, their kids, they are maybe like 20s, and they're like, wait, I don't remember when he said the first word, or like I don't remember when. And now they're trying to take the time back.
You brought up a lot of really good points, right? I mean, from journaling to actually trying to have that self-awareness.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously a lot of people struggle with this, especially entrepreneurs, because obviously we are so connected to our businesses and we really want to thrive, right? Because we have our vision and we're very passionate people. We look at risk differently. We are wired a little bit differently, right? But because of that, it makes it really hard for us to see these things and actually like reflect. What could people start doing today? Like what could, a business owner who just got started and has their first client and is super excited and they're growing, they're killing it. Like what practices should they really sort of develop, or not, sorry, not developing, but what should they take on like today? Like, I mean, obviously journaling is a great idea, self-reflection, but is there anything else?
Yeah, one thing that I like to use in business is called time blocking. And what you can do, you just can block your specific time for meetings, for your focus work, or even for the checking your email. Like instead of like waking up and the first thing you do is checking your email, actually, why you don't go for a walk for 20 minutes, make that daily, and block a time in your calendar for checking the emails. And then like this, you can group the similar tasks together, and then this will help. Like, I've seen this helping also reduce like mental fatigue and increase productivity. And then finally, like one real thing is that real business owner are people that they know how to delegate. Don't be afraid. Like, don't try to keep all the money inside the business and be like, oh, I need to have. I know there is a lot of this mentality of, you can listen to some of these gurus, of financial gurus, that they tells you like you need to have a 3 months saved. in front of you. But when you start a business, that's like, it's really hard to have 3 months worth of income saved in your business. Plus, again, if you're trying to do that, you might be losing another side of your life, and that can be your family or your health, because now you're working so hard to keep putting the money. You are wearing so many hats. You are like, you are the marketing team, and you are the production team, and you are the financing team, and you are the bookkeeper, and then you are the sales manager, and you are the business owner, and you're like, and that's not what business is meant to be. Like, business is meant to be like a place where you delegate, where you create a team, you create a family, and you bring other people in that help you. And I mean, AI is a bit disrupting this type of mentality, because now small business are like, I'm saving money, I have AI gonna do everything for me. Yes and no. AI has still need person behind it. It's not that AI just wake up and things. And even when I hear people say like, "Oh, AI has so much creativity, even better than people," I'm like, okay, then you have found not the right people, because like AI is programmed by people. AI use information that people has made. It's not that creates something from nothing. Then people are still the most creative type of of I say like being in this world. We have a mind and everything, but there is so many things going on actually right now that it's breaking this mentality of like, you need a team, you need the people to delegate some of the task, and you should not be the one. I mean, the best owners, I don't remember the quote 100%, but like someone was saying that to recognize a greater owner. A greater owner is the person that it's able to work for the future while delegate the things of the present. And yeah, that's what I believe.
So you brought up the whole thing of like time, right? Obviously, you want to be able to save up some money, have a runway, which makes sense, right? It's a way to really manage risk in a company. But also, you can't do everything by yourself. And one of the things I've been doing more of recently is really outsourcing like overseas, right? Like having like a VA in the Philippines or somewhere like that. You're not paying somebody in the US, you're not going to be burning up your nearly as fast, but you still get that help. And I think that's a great thing, right? It allows you to really does scale. You can obviously leverage like technology, like things like AI, better processes, and talent at a better price for you right
Mm.
now, right? And I think that's a really important thing that a lot of people miss, right? And I mean, tell me if I'm wrong, but I'm sure you've seen a lot of business leaders take so much pride in their business they don't want other people to touch it because it's their
Mm-hmm.
system. They have their own particular way of doing it.
Yep. Yep. That's the big problem. Like, it's their, they call it their kid. Like, it's my children. Like, it's mine. And they use this word mine. But in the reality, like, if you're a believer, first of all, it's God business. It's not your business. Like, it's God gave it to you. You are steward of that business, but it's not yours. You don't own it, because also, like, once you die, like, if you try to own all the rest of your life, once you die, where it goes? Like, you cannot take with you in the tomb. Like my parents always said to me with from money, it's like, once you die, you cannot take money with you on afterlife. Like, then why you are so attached to it? Like, you need to keep attached to things that you can take, and legacy, and creating a business where not just you but your family can thrive after you die. That's like something that it's worthy to have. And this is the reason why you need to delegate, because like, you need to create a culture where everyone can live inside and trust people. We are not meant to be by ourselves on the earth. That's why there are so many people around us, because we are meant to do things together. We are meant to build things together, and business is not different than that. Like, we're meant, even family, like, people that they have, like, say I'm married, people that they have other married couple around there in their circle, they are more successful. There is a higher chance they're not gonna divorce if the people around there, they are strong, they have a really strong marriage. Where like, it's opposite. Like, there's proven that, like, if a marriage couple, the old people around there, they're single, all of them, they are just single people, there is high chance they're gonna divorce and everything. Because like, the life of a single person is different than a life of marriage. You need to have the specific people around you. Same things with business. Obviously, it's hard. I think one of the other biggest challenge in business is find the right people to hire, the right people to, and that's part of marketing. People, they don't know that, but think marketing is only for sell your product, sell your services, but actually there is all a marketing area dedicated just for hiring people, how to write the right hiring, like the how you call it, like the job description, what is the right title, find the right name for the person that you are trying to hire. Like you find so many times there's no sense job description on LinkedIn where they say like entry level, and then while you read they say like I need 10 years of experience, and I'm like, that's not really entry level if you want 10 years of experience and master degree.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of job postings like that. Like entry level must have a master's degree, 8 years experience, these certifications, and had previous management experience. Like this is not realistic. Yeah, like I see there's a really big disconnect too in that world between like HR and the people actually doing the work, right? And I think it really also comes down to like communication issues. When you have the team saying, "Okay, I need this, this, and this," and then the person who's actually writing out, like, I don't know what any of that means.
Exactly.
And one of the things I actually probably imagine people are doing is they're going to like Chat GPT, be like, write a job description for this role, and then they post it, and then what I've seen a lot of companies is to get somebody who is like not actually that qualified for the work. But yeah, you brought up a really interesting point too about like when it comes to bringing in staff. I think a big challenge. I imagine you've probably seen this as well, where you hire the wrong staff. It's it's a thing. It happens, right? You as business leaders, as business owners, as operators, we are limited in what we know. We always do the best we can every day, right? And we may not understand what we're actually trying to do fully. And I find what a lot of people do when they're trying to build their team is they think they need a solution somewhere where it's not, but they don't even understand the problem enough to give it, and they hire the wrong person, and then they run this project for a while, and nothing really happens. I mean, have you seen that?
Yeah, I tell everyone just like make them comfort from the beginning, like don't feel like you're gonna hire someone perfect at the beginning, but like just learn to fire. And it's not that like you want to fire everyone. I'm telling people like don't try, and this was for me because no one told me that. And then like I hired a different person and everything, and I was like, I kept giving like month after month a second chance, another chance, and I'm like, this is just burning my money. Like I have literally like clients leaving because they got tired of this situation and everything, and I'm like, why I'm not firing this person? And all of this because no one told me like the first things I need to learn. It's not how to hire, but is how to fire.
Man.
And it's like and you don't want to fire, like it's not my nature, like oh yeah, I'm like people think I'm like business owner, there are bad people and they want to fire all the time, and it's not that, and maybe there are some, but like the reality is like we are in this business, money it's tight, like mostly when you're starting and everything, and we are really looking for a person that could understand our culture, understand what the message we are trying to bring through our product, our services. And then we find these people that they look awesome. They speak with you. You might know their dad or their mom because they're best friend with you, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna give you a chance. And then like the next things you know, you're losing clients because of that, and you don't want to fire because you know this person, and you're like, and you are in this like loop that's just taking you down.
Exact situation a couple times already. It's a hard thing, right? Because you invest a lot of time and energy, and regardless of how much money you've even spent, and you definitely do spend money on a lot of these people, they're just not a good fit, and that's okay, right? And that's one of the biggest challenges I found for myself as a business owner, where it's you bring on somebody you think is going to be great, and you want it to work, right? Because it feels like a huge failure on your part when you have to fire somebody. Right, where
Yeah.
you're trying to be like you're giving them second chance after second chance after second chance after second chance, right? and you're burning so much capital as you're doing this. And as all nothing's getting done. And what it's also doing is hurting the company, it's hurting your team, it's hurting the culture, having that
Hmm.
person around. And I don't know if you were, well, sure, probably have fired somebody at one point or another, but it's, for me, it was one of those things. I was thinking about it for days before I had to do it. I was stressing over it. Like, how do I do this? How do I don't want to, what are they going to do if they start freak, or what do I do if they freak out? Like, what do I do? Like, oh, I'm going to sue you, or start making crazy threats. How do I do it so they can't retaliate? And it's like all these things just ran through my head
Hmm.
before I like actually had that conversation. And the conversations when they do happen, it's not that bad. It sucks for
No.
sure. But it's one of those things you're like, you kind of explain, it's like, hey, look, this is not a good fit. Like, it's not really working out. Thank you for everything you've done so far, but we do need to go a different direction with this, or, whatever you may have.
Yeah.
A lot of the
No.
things you imagine don't actually happen.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. I feel like the same. I think in my case, it was a bit easier because I had my wife. It's kind of like she knows everything about what happened in business. Then I was telling before, actually spend time with your family can actually enrich your success instead of like people think they take you down, because like you can speak with her. I was able to speak with her and be like, hey, this is what's going on right now. And then when I was telling her, she was literally looking at me and be like, if you think it's not so bad as you think, like you have the reason. It's not that you never gave her another chance. You did 3 times. Then it's like, at this point, like, why you're beating yourself up? Like, just be honest. And she helped me writing down what I should tell that person. And same things was like with my coach. Like, I'm a coach. I'm a business coach, a marketing coach, but doesn't because of that, I believe in coaching, that I have my own coach. Like, I have a person that speak on my life. I have a mentor. I have someone that when I have a problem, I send a text and be like, hey, this is what's going on. Can you help me? Because like a coach, like if someone call you and say like, hey, I'm a business coach, but himself as not a coach or herself as not a coach or mentor, then like is preaching like something that he's not observing or like doing. That makes sense. But going back, yes, that's what helped me a lot. Again, yeah, I was going the same like you. I was in the beginning, I was going so stressed to the idea like I need to fire this person. I most wanted to give that person another chance just to not have to do the speak about firing.
It's hard. It's a lot harder
Yeah.
than people realize. Like, I know people feel pretty like upset when it happens because it is life changing. It's absolutely life changing, but it is not easy for anybody going through it. Nobody wants to go through that situation on either side. So obviously you have a lot of experience in this, right? And like a lot of the good and a lot of the bad. So, looking forward into the future, right? Like, where do you see, like, not just business coaching, but like the needs of business? Like, how are they really evolving? Like, especially in today's age.
In business, I mean, business, we are in the United States, and the United States, even more than other country, is built on small businesses. The idea of like why people come to United States is because we know that there is this freedom of I can start a business any moment. Like there is not if when I come from Italy. I'm originally from Italy and everything. Like living that like when I was growing up, I never heard much about business. I never heard much about starting a business. There is not so much about this, a lot small business. Even if my mom, she herself, she ran a small business, but like even her running a small business, she was pushing me towards corporation, towards master degree and everything. She was like, that's even a better idea because it's not so easy, it's not so standard. I mean, where when I came in US, like I felt like everyone I was meeting was small business. There is this things like let's start a business, and that's I think is a big power in the United States. It's some I think the United States honestly run on small business, run on business, and many times we don't. The country itself doesn't spend time to value this. When I go around and everything, I feel like they value so many other stuff of the country, and then it's awesome. Like you value the military, you value there is value on education, 100%. But I always tell people, praise God for all of that. But without business, without all these people running small business, pay taxes, donating and everything, there would be no military, there would be no police, there would be no education. Like, who is paying for this? It's not the government paying for this. Like, we are paying for it. We are the small business paying for this. We are the worker paying for it. And I think they're trying to cut these things down. They're trying to belittle us, belittle the small business. And I'm really inviting people to fight against that and be like, to raise their voice and be like, hey, I'm proud to be a small business. I'm proud of what I'm doing.
Absolutely. You know, the thing about small business too, I mean, small businesses, some stay small forever, and that's fine because that's really up to the owner, right? And they just don't want to scale. And I think that's great. Like, especially like, things like coffee shops, like little small, like local agencies that like, handle jobs, right? And then there are ones that grow, right? But the thing that I find common with all these businesses is they're because it is so competitive, right? Because those who actually do it, like they really do enhance the market and make the market more competitive. We're innovating lightning fast as a country. We are building things so quickly, right? We are usually the leaders or near the leaders of the world when it comes to a lot of these new technologies. Like, look how much investment capital has gone into AI alone, and all these companies trying things out and really helping the not just our country but the entire world. Like, really start like leveraging new tech, new ideas, and all these different solutions that really do make a difference. So yeah, I 100 million% agree. Where it's small businesses is what this country is built on.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
And that's what keeps this country like growing and thriving. It's and creating the opportunity for people to really say, hey, I can make a difference in the world and here's how I'm going to do it. And sure, as you've seen as well, the entrepreneur community in the US is amazing. Entrepreneurs love other entrepreneurs. We love hearing the stories. We love sharing the struggles. We love sharing our victories and really helping each other out. And I think a lot of people get scared because they never feel like they're good enough. Like, oh, I don't know this, I don't know that. But really, if you've talked to your entrepreneur friends, they go through a lot of the same experiences.
Yep, totally true. Yeah, it's and there are so many. I mean, I cannot speak for all the states, but here in Colorado Springs, there are so many networking. There are so many places to go. So many like, if you're ready to start, go there. I mean, even with my CEO, we decided to start a group coaching, and it starts like we have a free version for it, and it's specific for people that are looking to start. Because like there is some fear, and everyone goes to that fear. Like, you are not the first one going to that fear. You're not the first one going through that stress. You're not the first one going through that anxiety. We all went through that, and because of that, we decided with my CEO, we're like, hey, let's have like a group coaching where people that they're thinking about starting, they can join, and they can see that it's not so bad. Like you were saying before about firing, it's like the hardest part was like the day before the firing, like just how your mind create the worst case scenario for everything. Instead, like once I spoke with the person, it went pretty well and it finished fast. Like it didn't take much long, but I created like a movie, like a 3 hours movie on how could have gone. Same things with business. We like, before we start a business, sometimes are 3 hours. I know people that have been, they have like years long movies created in their mind how the business could go and how wrong could go, like, and they never start. And this is the reason why you have to join group community. There are so many community around the United States.
It's important is it's talk to your peers and really understand what it's like. Right. And that's the thing too. It's I could always talk to another business owner. And I mean, I have a lot of friends out where I live in Arizona that run businesses. And some of them I even use their services. But it's one of those things where you can actually just go get coffee and talk to them. That brings up, a really good question, right? And a question I love to ask. And so obviously you've been doing this for a minute and you're a very insightful guy, GQ. So I want to ask if you could give the audience any piece of advice, no matter anything at all, what it could be, what would you tell the audience that would really help them out? as, not just business owners, but people?
I think like the word comes to my mind is like boundaries. Speaking all of we spoke today. I think one word that's like take all of this together is boundaries. Like be able to create boundaries in business, boundaries in your family, in your life, boundaries even for your own feelings. Because feelings, like if we don't create boundaries, they just start to run crazy, and then we get in this spiral of depression things. Then be able to recognize, again, what I said before, be aware of what's going on and not just like walk blind. Like that's what we do. We even more, we're trying to run blind when we run a business or in life, then trying to be aware of what's going on around you and create boundaries from the beginning. If you're a believer like me, sit down, pray, and ask God. Like God can give you like the idea of like what are the boundaries you should have, like, because he knows who you are, your personality, and tells you like, hey, this is where you should be more careful, or like don't do too much of this. Or sometimes can be, for example, a boundary of time I've created for myself is like at 6 p.m. my phone, and you can, that's the beauty of technology, goes automatically in focus mode, and no message or email or text comes through me, or call comes to me. Then like anyone that call after that, they're going to receive automatic message about I'm not available, call me tomorrow, or they're going to go to the voice. That's a way for me to auto stop myself and be like, you have to stop. I might still do some work, but it's not related. I'm not calling with clients. I might finish just few sentences, but then like I'm free and I spend time with my family. Same things with your health, or with just when you wake up, give you your alarm, instead of be a normal alarm, can be an alarm with a text like, hey, good morning, let's go for a 20 minutes walk. Remind you that the first thing you should do this morning is going for a 20 minutes walk, not open your laptop, not reading your email, not open Instagram, but go for a walk, like enjoy the outside, breathe this beautiful air, and enjoy what is around. And that will help you start your day different. And we always think about boundaries and relationship with other person, but there's boundaries for ourselves too. Like if we know that, for example, we are trying to lose weight, and create boundaries to the size of like, I'm not buying more chocolate or other stuff in my house, because like I know I cannot go against it. I'm not strong enough to say no if I see a piece of chocolate on my kitchen. Then like don't buy it. Like create a boundaries. That's build boundaries. And I think that's, and also will help against people, because like we are not slave of our business. We are not the slave of our clients. We serve them. We are not slaves. And like create boundaries with your clients too.
I think that's definitely a challenge for a lot of people too. But yeah, dude, that's amazing advice. But hey, we are at the other conclusion of our show. Everybody who's been out there listening, thank you so much for joining us. Again, this is GQ. Man, dude, I really appreciate this conversation. Very enlightening for me. I definitely have some stuff I definitely need to work on with myself, and I really do appreciate the advice you gave. I'm sure the audience does as well. So, everybody, once again, thanks for coming out, and look forward to the next episode of Thriving in the Digital Age.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Thriving in the Digital Age. We hope today's episode gave you some great tips for navigating and rocking the digital world. Remember to hit subscribe for more awesome tips, strategies, and expert talks on thriving in the digital age. Stay connected, stay informed, and keep on thriving.